So here we are for round 2 of the Ironman League on F1 2025, Abu Dhabi today. And if you look at that weather forecast, it is due to rain. But the weather forecast is also a liar, and it's going to rain much earlier than we actually think it is going to. Looking at that, it should rain about lap 30, lap 35. But as you're going to see, it is not true, and it is going to be quite chaotic in terms of the weather forecast during the race. Anyway, we're going to be on the hard compound tyre in P8 for our starting grid, and we have got the lights coming on here right now. Looking to be aggressive, looking to make up some places. Abu Dhabi is not the easiest place to get up the inside of another car, but we're going to try it with the McLaren in turn 1, outbraking, squeezing on the curb, just about getting through there, running a bit of tyres. But we've made up one position so far from P8 into P7. In the slipstream of Andre just up ahead of us, and again we're going to maybe look down the inside, but you can see he was going up the inside of the Alpine as well, so we decided to back out of that and not make it 3 wide. We are running extremely low wings in this race, because from all the testing I did previously, and of course making the setups etc along those lines, we basically found out that running extremely low wings was extremely beneficial in a dry race in Abu Dhabi. So I took my dry setup, increased the wings by about 7, I think it was 7 or 8.
Warning for extending track limits for that.
As you can see, I wasn't happy about that track limits. We did get pushed off the track, but you know, rubbing is racing, and Andre was doing a good job hanging it around the outside of the first turn, and yeah, these things can happen, so it's all good, all Gucci. But as I was mentioning before, about 7
all the
or
time
8,
you have to leave the space.
all the time you have to leave the space. We was about 7 or 8 clicks higher. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head right now, compared to what we ran in a normal dry situation. So we are much higher than a dry wing configuration. Well, fully dry wing configuration, that is, should be said. But still, it is going to be relying on the track becoming dry or staying dry for the majority of the race. You can see here on lap 2, we are now firmly within the DLS of the cars up ahead, and we're going to be checking the weather radar pretty soon.
We think we might see some rain, ETA about 15 minutes. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So, hang on a minute, Jeff. Hang on a minute, Jeff. You said at the start of the race it was going to be raining towards the end. But now, on lap 2, you're saying it's going to be raining around 15 minutes from now. Doesn't quite add up, if you ask me. But anyway, we've set up our car for the dry conditions, but it seems like we're not going to have very much dry conditions to utilize that advantage, so we need to crack on and be trying to make up the places early and get ahead on the track position. Jack, for some reason, was going slow down the straight, so we've turned on our overtake button, and we're going to be thinking about looking down the inside there, but just not enough of a braking distance to get our car firmly alongside for the apex, and we are going to still be in P6. Lap 3 of the race, you can see Andre behind us. We're quite low on the battery as we have been aggressive in these opening laps, like I have mentioned before, and now we are needing to sort of recuperate that before we go back on the attack. And we have got Jack up ahead of us, and then the Mercedes.
Okay, expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Cheers, Jeff. Dries seem like the best tyres for now. Roger that. Roger that. So lap 5 coming towards the end right now. 27.3 on the lap time, just over half a tenth away from our PB in this race. And you can see the pace is actually coming to us right now, and we are very high on the battery. And this was one thing I noticed about the lower wing configuration when testing it. It did give really good tyre wear and really good car balance. As we look down the inside of the Mercedes, did a little bit of a dummy there, and we've claimed the inside racing line, and we've got the traction down on the exit. Now you're going to see quite just how low on the wings we are. We're 4 tenths behind Jack, and now look at this slipstream and top speed advantage. We're all over the back of him. We go down the inside, and I make a mistake here, to be honest. I do rub tyres. We give up the place. We lift on the exit, and that does cost us the place to the Mercedes as well.
Second one was my fault.
You can instantly see I say second one was my fault. I go down the inside. At this point, I'm so committed I can't back out of it. And you can see I do run into the side of Jack. So apologies to Jack. I hold my hands up, and as you can see, we move instantly to the left-hand side, give lots of room on the inside, and we do lift the throttle here. We don't try to hang it around the outside, and that does cost us the place to the Mercedes. So yeah, extremely sorry for Jack, because that did cost Jack the DRS here. And you're going to see he moves a little bit late, covers the inside, and of course Diego gets caught on the outside curving there as well. So we did actually hit Jack on the straight from the little late move, but you know, no hate to Jack, literally none at all, because he was fully in his right. I punted him off from the first corner just ahead of that, and he did a bit of an aggressive weave on the straight as a net result. And I back him, to be honest. I think I would have done the same, to be honest. I would have been miffed. I would have been mad.
Yeah, the one with Jack was my fault completely.
You hear me say the one with Jack was completely my fault.
So apologies to him.
Yeah, a little late move on the straight, but, you know, I probably would have done the same because I would have been miffed in that situation as well, being punted up the inside. So, all fair play.
I feel comfortable with the pace, but
yeah,
we're just falling away from the leaders.
Like I say, all fair play, and to be honest, this isn't...
I can't say battery just being in the train.
Isn't like PSGL, so a bit of rubbing is racing.
Like, if I can get to the head of the train, then I think we can catch. But the problem is we can't get there. We're losing so much ground to the top three. Again, I put myself in this situation for the move with Jack, to be fair, but yeah.
Lock in. It is time to lock in. But yeah, you can see me taking my own accountability there, to be honest, even in the live moment, because it was my mistake against Jack that broke the DRS to the race leaders.
Starting to rain.
And it's starting to rain right now. But yeah, it was my mistake by sending up the inside of Jack. That cost us as a train the DRS to the race leaders. So again, you can hear me saying my own accountability, because I made the mistake, what had the net result in being put in this position. We're not going to be boxing on this lap though. We do think about it. As you can see, we're increasing the wing just 2 clicks to try and add a bit of front rotation, what does help when you're going on to the intermediate tyres as well towards the end of lap 11. So you can see the tyres on the right hand side are pretty good on the tyre wear. That's sort of something you're looking for, is the front and rear deg to be as equal as possible, and that is a good sign of a decent car balance, to be honest. And I was feeling really good with the overall balance I had, and especially as the race was going to unfold, if it stayed dry for longer, of course, to be picking up those positions and really getting up ahead of some cars. But that's not the situation we have right now, and the low wing configuration is really going to cause us to be struggling in these slippery track conditions. Very greasy at the moment, having to be quite early on the brake. The 2 cars up ahead are going wide, and we're having to defend furiously from Luca right up behind our rear wing, and having to use all of our battery due to simply the lack of grip that we have, meaning he's right up our gearbox. You can see the Mercedes got up the inside of Jack West up ahead, and we're almost looking up the inside of Jack as well, just trying to fight the car with little traction. The track is getting quite damp by the second, just looking at it underneath the car. Going defensive against Luca again. I know I have so little grip in this situation from the low wing configuration, but all I can do is cover the inside line. All I can do is survive, and then just hope and pray we can extract some performance out of the intermediate tyre and pull off a bit of a decent strategy. Into the pit lane, and we do nice control. We pulled the inside here just to make sure we don't hit Jack, as once we do get the limiter on, it was pretty close to him. So again, going back to that pre-race weather report, looking at the boxes, it was meant to rain about lap 30, lap 35 in my guess. At latest, late 20s. At latest. But somehow it ended up raining here on lap 12, and that's really, to be honest, screwed our strategy. Again, it's my fault, because I put the wings on, I put the setup on. And as I found out after the race, there's a bit of a bug, apparently, that if you have it on a certain weather configuration, I can't remember if the League runs approximate or the other one. I can't remember the 2 names of them. There's one that's approximate, for it's meant to be 100% accurate. And there's also meant to be another setting that's slightly random. Again, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. If you do know the name of it, feel free to comment down it in the comments below. Apparently there's a bug that if you do have one of the weather settings, then the rain always comes like 30 minutes early. So that's a learning curve. That's something for me to learn in the future and understand the game a little bit better. But now we are sat in the boat, quite literally, because it feels like that, with super low wings on this weather configuration. But you can see, even at the end of the straight, our wings are so low that Luca was barely able to make an impression on us with the top speed, even with all of that slipstream, and I'm sure he had his overtake button enabled. And now running down the second straight, even with so little battery on our half, you can see he's still not able to close in on us down the straight. So, to be honest, we must be upwards of 10, maybe 13, maybe even 15. 15 is probably too exaggerated, but we're at least 10 clicks lower on the wing. And that has got to be correlating for upwards of half a second, 7/10 a lap minimum around Abu Dhabi in these wet weather conditions. Again, I take accountability, I own it, because we should have gone higher wings, but we stayed with a dry configuration. 1:38.1 on the lap time here in lap 18. And I recognise my circumstances. I recognised that I did not have the raw pace and the raw grip to be catching the leaders at this point, so I changed my race approach, and I knew the rain was going to be staying for a very long time until the weather forecast, of course, pre-race. So I now focused all of my energy on rear tyre saving and trying to get my tyres as far into the stint as possible. And if we get this right, and if we get this perfect, the other cars...
This rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
As you can see, Luca sends it down the inside, a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, going for the right-hander now, and we're going to be stuck in the side pod a little bit.
I mean, I did that to someone else earlier. It's just, I can't be mad because he pushed me out the way, but that's what I did to someone else earlier, so fair play, GG.
Yeah, you can hear me say, again, accountability, because I pushed Jack out of the way earlier in a very similar move. Luca did it to me there. And no hate, you know, it's rubbing, it's racing in these occasions. I like the fact he sent it. Luckily was able to hold on to the position.
Hit me again.
But yeah, what he did, I did to someone else earlier, so fair play, you know.
I'd be interested to know what other people's tyre takers are, because we've been saving a lot. Like, we're 7 or 8 laps into the stint, and I only have 10%.
Yeah, you can hear me now really trying to understand the tyre saving strategy here on lap 22. We are doing our utmost to be extracting the best performance out of these tyres possible. Once again, Luca right up behind us, and now we have to cover the inside quite aggressively, and he does a beautiful move here around the outside, taking advantage of his higher wings, higher grip in this situation. We're fighting as much as we can, but now we're on the outside line, and we're not really going to be able to hold the position there. And you know what? Fair play to Luca. I want people in the comments to go and congratulate him if you can. Just write a nice comment about it. And my microphone decided to stop recording halfway through this recording. So I'm re-recording the second half of this video right now, but I want to finish the sentence that I was doing previously. Go and show Luca some love, some support. Because yeah, that was a really exceptional move. Also some of the moves he did on me earlier in the stint, trying to get me offline, battling a little bit. Really sensational stuff. So yeah, if you have the time, please go down in the comments and show Luca some love and support.
Light rain will stay with us for at least 20 minutes, maybe more. Light rain is here to stay. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
Yeah, as I was saying before I did the radio call with the engineer, go and show Luca some love and support. As you can see, the rain is going to be here for a very, very long time though. And our strategy of trying to be conserving our tyres and getting to the end is going to be our priority. Because I did believe, anyway, that the rain was going to be here for a very long time. And I knew with some good tyre management that we was going to be in a situation that we could, you know, get towards the end of the stint. And if we played it right, and if we played it in a smart way, other people may have to make a pit stop, and it may offset the downsides of us being slower with our lower wing configuration. Again, apologies, I might be repeating some of the statements I said earlier in the video. I am trying my best. I'm trying to get this video out for 4 PM UK time. It's currently 2:24 PM UK time. So yeah, re-recording the second half of this audio after the whole microphone glitch. But again, my responsibility because I didn't realise it stopped recording halfway through. So hold my hands up for that, but I'm trying to get this video out for Monday night, 4 PM.
I mean, I'm like basically 100% certain I can get to the dry period.
UK time. As you can hear me say, I'm very certain I can get to the dry period, talking about that we just talked about a few minutes ago, in fact, and trying to extrapolate pace.
Like, we've been on these tyres since like lap 12. I've only got 40%.
So yeah, you can see me mentally doing the math about the tyres and how far we can get into the race. Of course, as the track gets drier, we will go faster and we will put more low friction temperature into the tyres. So we will get more tyre dead the faster that we're going around the track, and as the track dries off naturally because of that. So we have to be taking that into our calculations. At the moment, we're doing a 1 minute 34.820, what is quite conservative pace, to be honest, considering we're like 27s at the start of the race. In a dry condition, we're probably near like 24s at this point in the race. So you can see we are very, very slow compared to a full dry pace. Of course, because we are on wets, we are on intermediate tyres on a damp circuit, but just shows how much we're also managing our tyres and trying to make sure that we can get towards the end of the stint in a good way. As the tyres start to overheat now though, because of the temperature of the track raising and the track getting drier, we are going to be finding ourselves with more snaps of oversteer, as we can't really let off on the pace at the moment because Otis is all over the back of us here on lap 40. Again, this is going to be highlighting just how low we were on the wing level here today, and we are going to be draining our battery. Otis is going to be deep in our slipstream, and he's not even closing into us at the end of the straight. As he sends it down the inside, we leave him the racing room on the inside, and now we're looking for a strong exit onto the second straight here, what we're able to do. But this just shows how low our wings were here today, because Otis is in our slipstream, I presume using his overtake button as well, but is not actually able to be closing in on us down the straight. So when you're underneath the sort of slipstream at that range, you're gaining so much top speed. He must be on, I reckon, +8, maybe +10 wings from where we were here today. Maybe I could ask Otis, maybe he can confirm that or deny it. But yeah, I might drop him a private message after this recording to see what he was on roughly. Lap 34 though, the track is drying.
Which, if it stays like this for 5 more laps, we're in a great position.
So yeah, as you hear me say, if it stays like this for 5 more laps, we're in a great position. Because tyre wear is going through the roof right now, with the track getting drier and of course more friction, temperature and load going through the tyres. So all of our tyre saving might buy us an opportunity right now to go longer than everyone else, but that opportunity falls short immediately as Otis Lawrence and many other cars dive for the pit lane, presumably to go on to the slick compound tyre. What I felt was a bit difficult at this moment, because the inters are so worn and so used at this point, being on since like lap 12 or 13, I can't remember the lap exactly, but being on the tyre and the track for so long, they are so worn out. So right now, I would say a fresh set of inters are faster than dries, considerably faster than dries.
It'd be important to get to that guy's DRS ahead of me.
And you hear me say the importance of getting to his DRS up ahead of me, quite simply because of course the DRS is not activated right now, but it will be in the near future if the track continues to dry. So once it is dry and once DRS is active, we need to ensure that we're ready to pounce and take forward of that opportunity presented to us. But first of all, we have to get our pit lap spot on with this transferable condition.
The thing is, the dries are not faster, it's just the inters are so worn.
And you can hear my live commentary, my live thoughts, saying that the dries are not faster, just the inters are more worn. And I do believe that statement, even now. I reckon, if I boxed and put on a fresh set of inters, I would more than likely be faster than the dry compound tyres until about lap 48, roughly. But, of course, that's not sustainable. So we are forced to be going on to the dry compound tyre earlier than I think it's ready for.
Good stint.
And yeah, very happy with that stint. We're going to be going for the medium compound tyres as well. And yeah, very interesting what will happen.
We got the box lap perfect, I think.
Very happy with our box lap, but yeah, very interesting what will happen.
Otis might have undercut us a bit, but our tyre deck should be a lot better at the end of the race.
Because we went to mediums, presuming the track was going to dry rapidly, and as you would expect in Abu Dhabi, it's in a desert. First of all, you wouldn't expect rain. Maybe because it rained, I should have expected the unexpected, thinking about it now. But anyway, go back to the point. I was expecting the track to be fully dry within a handful of laps right now, as we are in a good position.
Okay, that's literally perfect for us.
Because of the DRS from Otis, you hear me say in live commentary, that's literally perfect for us, because we're able to get the DRS, and you can see our low wing advantage right now pulling us down the back straight, all the way to the back of Otis Lawrence, closing up almost a second on that one straight alone, and we are back in the fight with fresher tyres, and of a good opportunity to be battling with Otis Lawrence for the remainder of the stint. But as I was talking about before, with the glitch bug sort of feeling I had with the weather, the track never dries. The track never actually got fully dry. And even at the end of this stint, at the end of the race, we're still lapping multiple seconds slower than we did at the start of the race.
Yeah, but if he pushes on the exit, tell him I'll swap. But, like, he has to not use on the exit, you know? He's on a higher wing, I think. Tell him, like, I'm happy to swap, but it has to be coordinated, you know?
And yeah, this was basically a very nice viewer going in between me and Otis's live stream chat, coordinating DRS swapping. DRS swapping would possibly help us catch the cars ahead, but of course, it's going to be quite difficult to coordinate between two people who are not directly teammates, as you're going to see now on lap 48.
Yeah, I'm on very, very low wing.
And you hear me say I'm on very low wing. What is struggling at the moment with this damp weather condition, as I'm not able to get the load into the tyres.
So while the track is, like, transitioning like this, it's quite difficult.
Yeah, just not able to get the downforce out of the car in the situation just from being on the lower wing. The balance I'm very happy with. The tyre deck I'm very happy with. It's just simply raw grip going in to the tarmac through the tyres. Just now Otis is repassing us on the DRS right now here on lap 49. And yeah, it's just becoming quite apparent that we're fighting for P5 in this race right now, as now we're coming onto the back straight and looking at the top speed advantage. I'm sure he was on none, but able to fly past.
Someone tell Otis it's way better to lead in the final sector. Because like I say, I have so much lower downforce that it's better for him to have the clean air right now, you know?
And yeah, I was thinking about that during the race, and I still stand by that right now, that him being on higher downforce, it's better for him to have the freedom to push in the sector 3, and have that freedom and not having the dirty air. If I'm leading into sector 3 on my lower downforce configuration, we're not able to maximize the lap time potential, and it's not going to mean that we can catch the cars ahead, you know? Here on lap 52 though, I think Otis gave up on the idea of catching up the cars ahead, and he was just following me for the rest of the stint. As we come towards the end of lap 52 right now, you can see 6 tenths behind in the final sector, and he never re-overtook me for the remainder of these few laps. So it was clear to me that Otis just wanted to focus on P5 and maximize his chances of finishing P5 for the remainder of the race. What's a bit of a shame, because the car up ahead also had a 3-second time penalty. So if we were working together, we might have been able to catch them and gain an extra position, but you know, that's life, that's racing. As you can see, that penalty is actually highlighted at the top of the screen right now as well, with 3 seconds to Gabor, and maybe we could finish P4 in this situation if we was able to gain a little bit more time to him, but of course it's quite ambitious to gain that 2.5 seconds to be within that penalty range. But as we're now going to be skipping on later.
What's crazy is the track is still 2 seconds slower than it was at the start of the race. Even though we're 50 laps lighter on fuel, we're still losing 2 seconds of grip. Like, the weather system really doesn't make sense. It says it was going to rain at like towards the end of the race, and it rained on lap 11. Really strange, really strange.
Yeah, very strange indeed. The fact it was meant to be dry for the majority of the race, and it only stayed dry for 12 laps of the race, really hampered us. But as now we come on to the final lap of the race here, lap 58 of lap 58 of the Stint. And now we have got Otis Lawrence directly behind us with Ismail Fassi as well. And Ismail Fassi has a 3-second time penalty, so I'm not worried about him. But we're going to have some fun. We're going to play some DRS games. And we're going to force Otis and Ismail past us so we can try and go on the attack. Like I say, I'm not worried about Ismail because Ismail's penalty means he's going to finish behind us anyway. But if we can do the DRS games efficiently, then maybe we can get up ahead of Otis and claim P5 in the race rather than P6. So now Ismail is up ahead of Otis. He's going to go defensive. Otis sends it around the outside. And now we're going to be looking for a switchback on to the back straight. DRS is going to be activated now on the overtake button in the slipstream. We can't quite tuck underneath Otis until much later on in the straight. We're going to go 3 wide down the inside of Ismail, and Otis sends it round the outside. So fair play to him. That was a cracking move. And now we are back into P6. So nothing gained, nothing lost from this situation, as Otis was going to overtake us with a DRS anyway on to those straights. So very frustrating, very, to be honest, annoying with the weather, but game's the game. And yeah, definitely a lot more to learn about these sort of conditions going forward. So yeah, around the final corner, P6 to bring it home.
Strangest race of my life. Yeah, no grip on the track. Very strange.
So there we go, P6 across the line. And yeah, apologies for some of the microphone technical difficulties during this video. I really tried my best to resolve it, but to be honest, it's now 2:55 p.m. UK time, and I've got to upload this video for 4 p.m. UK time. So really, fingers crossed, this renders and uploads quick time, so then we can continue on a good schedule for the YouTube videos. But regardless, I really want to push out the best quality I can, so if I need to delay this video past 4 p.m, I will. Anyway though, thank you so much for watching. There's a lot for me to learn. There's a lot for me to digest with this race as well. Quite simply because the dry pace was good. As we saw also in Spa, when the track was fully dry, we were very quick, very competitive, and I believe the same about this as well. In the opening stint, with the low wing configuration, we were good on the battery regeneration, battery usage, and was able to put some overtakes on the board until I made the mistake with Jack, of course. So I just need to understand that transferable condition a little bit more. It's my job to understand the game. It's my job to make setups as well. So I'm really determined, to be honest. So there we go, P6 in the end of the race, and to be honest, quite frustrated, quite unhappy in all honesty with that race. It's my job to be good at the game. It's my job to make setups for the game, and I felt really confident in the dry pace. Even on Spa, I feel like the dry pace and the dry wings options were really solid and really quick. But at the moment, there seems to be that sort of transferable condition, whereas previously I was assuming that you could maybe go +5 on the wing and still be comfortable in the dry and wet conditions on the setup. But now it's becoming a bit more apparent to me that maybe I need to go +10, maybe even +15 wing for my dry to an intermediate setup in this transferable condition. Of course, when it's one condition, it's easy to make a setup. It's easy to make that option, as you can just do it before the race starts. But when the race is changing like this, you have to make the option before the race even gets underway. So now I'm digesting, I'm learning my decision-making process and what wings are good or bag for the F1 25 game in this transferable condition. So rest assured, I am working my socks off to make sure the setups are absolutely top notch in every condition possible. Also, so I can get good results as well, because I enjoy racing. Although I retired from F1 esports, I still love pushing myself. I still love being at that bubble, at that limit, at the absolute pace I can deliver, and that's what I thrive off. So one, from a point of making the setups as good as possible, I'm going to be really hard on myself and push them as much as I can in this next few weeks of my life to understand everything possible, but also for my own determination, my own pleasure, I want better results. So with that being said, it is now 2:58. I've had a lot of microphone issues recording this video, so I really, fingers crossed, it doesn't hurt the quality of the video. I've tried my best to cover up any of the microphone issues I have had had in this video. But yeah, I've got to get the video out for 4 p.m. UK time so we can continue on our normal schedule. Of course, though, I'm not going to limit the quality of the video in return for just making the upload quicker. God, this has been quite a podcast at the end of the video. My apologies. Jesus. Anyway, getting back to the point. Everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Grazie, ciao, ciao, bye-bye.